Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Nebula Theatre Cast. Yes, the cast where you members who have paid so graciously for our continued existence get to pick a matchup that we debate. Submitted by, I think this is important to say who was submitted by, Salad Geyser on the Discord has submitted the Collector from the Owl House versus the Admin from Minecraft Story Mode. Today, we have our greatest friend and technician of the stream, Sherm.
Hello, hi. I'm very excited about this matchup. I like it a lot.
We have Nebula Theatre researcher and writer, Zoro.
Hello, everybody. Pleasure to be back on here again.
And very special guest, because a lot of our other jury who are normally a part of this are very busy individuals. We have Comet from Fan Battle Cast.
Hello. I'm here.
Yes. So today we are going to be talking about these two. We're going to be debating. We're going to see who we think wins. So if you don't know the format of this show, or if you're here from Fan Battle Cast, we don't do normal 60-second rundowns like kind of Death Battle does, I guess. We do kind of character explorations, introduce the characters. And I feel like it only makes sense if you start, Sherm, given you have the more well-known and popular character in this matchup.
I guess that's fair. I don't know if it's necessarily more popular. I feel like Collector, Owl House, and Minecraft Story Mode might be like different Venn diagrams, but yeah. So the Collector, in the Owl House, there is this race of what could be aliens, what could be like minor deities. We're not entirely too sure, but they are a race called the Archivists, and they go around the universe collecting and archiving creatures. They will turn them into an inanimate object of some sort and keep them safe so they are all cataloged. You can kind of think of maybe the Collector from Marvel in kind of a way. That's their whole modus operandi. The Collector, however, is a small child of the species. Ancient chronologically by our standards, thousands of years old, but mentally far more comparable to a very small child of potentially like somewhere like maybe 7 or 8 years old, I would guess. The Collector is a child who loves to play and loves to make friends. One time they were tricked by their older, maybe siblings, maybe older relationships, but they go to the Boiling Isles to play with the small titans because the Archivist tells the Collector to do that. And while the Collector's playing with them, the rest of the Archivists wipe out all the other titans because the titans on the Boiling Isles are a threat to the Archivists. They potentially rival them in power, or they have magic that can affect and take out the Archivists. There's a couple different interpretations. But regardless, they were a threat to the Archivists. And this caused Collector to kind of take the blame, even though he was just playing with them. He was there, and people thought the Collector did it. So the last Titan sealed the Collector away for thousands of years. Until, and the Collector Bellows found the Collector sealed away, made some deals. The Collector gave Bellows some information. Bellows, being the main antagonist of Owl House, tricked and betrayed the Collector. But the main characters in the main cast eventually released the Collector to help them save the day from Bellows. Unfortunately, Collector is very immature and ungodly powerful. So the Collector, once the Collector's been released, kind of turns the Boiling Isles into his own playset. You can kind of think of maybe a little bit of a Majora's Mask kind of situation of just him kind of taking control of playing games with the entire Boiling Isles. But eventually the main cast is able to have a heart-to-heart with Collector and help him defeat Bellows, who came back more powerful than ever. And eventually Collector learns the value of life and a bit of responsibility. a bit of doing the right thing when you have a lot of power. And yeah, he is an ungodly powerful little space cherub that it will be incredibly difficult to defeat by traditional means.
Interesting. I guess I'll start, right?
Yeah.
So the admin's real name is that of Romeo. Not much is known about Romeo's past before he was an admin, but there are two other admins important to his story, Zara and Fred. And basically, they were kind of the best of friends, right? They're kind of like the creators of the world, and they have made everything. They make something called the Underneath and make their own like villages and try and basically make a peaceful world for themselves. However, Zara and Fred wanted to make their own town after Romeo made Romeoburg, which hell of a name, Romeo. And he was trying to keep them together because he was so scared of losing his friendship. So scared, in fact, that he ended up killing Fred because Fred, he developed this weapon specifically for taking away the powers of the admin and got rid of the other admin, Zara's powers, and sent her to a prison known as the Sunshine Institute, and then did something called bedrocking over the world, which is where the entire world of Minecraft gets covered in bedrock and then a new one is built on top. Enter the protagonist, Jesse. So, kind of little context on Jesse. Jesse ends up becoming a legendary hero thanks to him fighting a very important individual known as the Witherstorm, a creation that seeks to destroy the entire world. And after a little bit of miscellaneous adventures, including meeting famous YouTuber Dan TDM and Stampy, the admin seeks out Jesse to be his best friend in the world, to be his partner, to be whatever he wants to be, through a series of trials and tribulations, games and such, and fighting and combat. But Jesse refuses. He refuses. So the admin goes, oh, okay, I'm going to have all the friends in the world by becoming Jesse, and then I'm going to send you to the Sunshine Institute, which is, imagine like a prison dimension, right? It's a dimension full of the people that the admin doesn't like. Jesse obviously manages to break out and come back. The admin sees this. He talks with Jesse. He's like, it's so hard being you. This world is so difficult. I'm just going to bedrock over this one and start an entirely new world. And Jesse's like, what the fuck? No. But he leaves. Jesse ends up finding the old hideout of the other two admins and getting this golden gauntlet made to specifically defeat the admin. He gets into combat and defeats the admin, strips him of his powers, and he becomes Romeo again. Romeo's fate is actually determined by your choices in Minecraft story mode. So better storytelling than The Walking Dead, apparently. They didn't care about them. But in two different instances, Romeo's fate is either to die. He believes that, like, he sees that all the horrors that he's done, all the people that he hurt, and he's like, I just deserve to die. And if you don't have a specific character with you called Radar, who eventually helps you convince him, he just dies. Otherwise, he manages to escape. And picture, when Woody was like, all right, next episode. And then Stinky Pete comes in and goes, there's no next episode. That's literally where Minecraft story mode ended, I believe. Or like they did nothing with Romeo ever again. It's really sad. But he is an incredibly powerful reality warper, all things considered. Far more experience in actual direct combat. And even though he is a pathetic brat at times, he is a lot less childish.
So you're saying he knew the creator gods. Are those like the credits people in Minecraft?
No. This is Minecraft story mode is kind of its own separate thing. It's like Undertale to Deltarune.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
where they kind of exist as two separate universes type thing. The other people are the other admins who had powers like Romeo.
Okay. Does he get Dan TDM or Stampy scaling?
Dan TDM does have a speed feat I will be bringing up.
Ooh.
He has one of the fastest currently calculated feats. And it is the stupidest thing ever when I tell you about it.
Delightful. I'm excited.
Yeah, Minecraft Story Mode was a fun experience back when I played it. Yeah, I agree. But we should get into what these two are capable to do. Do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. So a collector and the archivists are kind of like can do anything for the most part. They don't quite bedrock the world, but when supposedly if a planet they visit is getting too uppity, they have destructions to scorch the earth and burn the air. So they would also just like destroy a place if they are also having trouble with it. Collector has a ton of magic, but I just like to say as a baseline, the collector is incredibly physically strong. Belos is kind of like physically stronger than anyone else in the main cast. But then like when Belos tries to attack them, Collector like intercepts it with like two fingers. He intercepts like his big axe attack, and then he like launches him into the wall faster than anyone can react and just completely like goopify Belos. He was already goop, but then he becomes goop that is no longer moving, which is worse than being goop that can move. And also when he's like incredibly depowered and has access to like none of his abilities, he's still strong enough to lift like an entire like crown shaped house that's like the size of a state basically. He's incredibly physically strong, not just a magical guy. But he does have a ton of crazy magical powers. I'd say one of his most notable is just his like telekinesis, because he can fly around, but less like I feel like based on how the flying is shown off, it's less like he can fly like Goku or Superman, and more like he just kind of ignores gravity and kind of can control his position in 3D space. But he can also just fly around like Goku, because there's like some cool action scenes where he does that. But he can also just like rip apart and put things back together with his telekinesis incredibly precisely. If anyone remembers that scene where like Cell takes a mountain and then like slices it up and then puts it back together in the shape of his infamous square ring, that's kind of what Collector does. One of the first things he does is he takes apart this massive Titan skull, or takes apart chunks of this massive Titan skull and like puts it together into like his house. And like it doesn't look like it's a house made of skull bits. It looks like it's made of castle and house material. And he can also just like control other people, move them around, do all your usual telekinesis stuff. I'd say that's like the main thing. That's like probably like a lot of how he does a lot of stuff. He has like these ribbons, kind of like ribbons you use to wrap a present. He like will launch them out to like tie someone up or grab someone or just like manipulate something. Sometimes he just has them flying around him for aesthetic effect. He does have his own like energy attacks. Like he can like shoot energy or form like a blade out of energy to like slice something if he has to. He has like meteors that are shaped like stars. He can summon like he's Azrael and just summon and like they crash around and create explosions. He should realistically have most types of magic in Owl House, but I think as like a baseline, we can say like he should have like a lot of the elemental magics like fire, ice, light, plants, because when other characters do like ice spells, he's like, oh, that's a very basic spell, but I've never seen a normal person do that. And there's a couple more like esoteric stuff, but we can potentially get into that later. But that's like the general. He's got like enough powers to do basically like a lot of different things when he pulls up to a situation.
Cool. So the admin is kind of similar in terms of abilities. He can fly around just kind of like creative mode Minecraft, right?
Mm.
He can just kind of maneuver through the air however he wants. He can shapeshift into a bunch of different things. such as, again, he took over Jesse's identity, was able to shapeshift into him. He's able to shapeshift into, like, a snowman and use, like, snowballs that are strong enough to harm Jesse, which is really funny to think about. And a thing called a Prismarine Colossus, which is a large stone mech, like, kind of, it's almost like a big mech thing, although it's just kind of a construct that he is controlling, but he's later shown to be able to become it. He's able to manipulate time. Sherm, if you can pull up the it's one of 3, so it's the clock one. I think I named it Time Change. So this is very funny. So when he's attacking Jesse for the first time, he wants to up the stakes of the world. So using a giant clock, he rotates the time so that it can become day to night. So all the mobs / googlies can spawn in to attack the people down below.
That's fun.
This is a pretty impressive just feat on its own because, you know, he's strong enough to be able to move the moon. But I think more impressively of that is, can you bring up Permanite?
Yes.
So after the Prismarine construct is destroyed, this snowman, which is again another construct of him. Oh, by the way, you see that white bearded guy? That's the admin in disguise. He killed the real version and took over him.
Oh no.
Huh.
So there's something to also say about him, like being able to like kind of like duplicate, right? Because he's controlling these two constructs and being able to move around and talk at the same time, right? But if you look at this, it says your town will be trapped in eternal snowy night forever, plagued by deadly waves of mobs. Also, before you guys say, what if the collector knocks the clock out of his hand or something? He is in this specific segment. He claps his hands and it turns back to snowy night, right? What's kind of super... is it full screen for anybody else?
I full screened it to make it read easier.
Okay. I thought it was glitching on my end. What's more impressive about this is so the admin makes them go to like these trial chambers, right? And they look up and the moon is physically glitching to where it can't move anymore.
Oh.
So more impressive than moving... I think it's similar impressive, but I think more impressive in terms of like what we see on like Versus shows and stuff is he completely stops the moon from being affected by gravity.
That is pretty good. That is pretty good.
There's some other powers as well that's important. He is completely invulnerable to normal damage. So normal physical attacks don't really do anything to him. He's kind of got the Arku thing, but imagine if Arku wasn't a fraud and actually had the immortality that everyone thinks that he has, where it's like they can't use their swords, they can't use their bows. Looking through, he can create a bunch of stuff, as you might imagine, as a Minecraft story mode character. Within a clap of his hands, he can build giant prismarine towers, like entire set pieces for the story, right? And he's doing these within seconds. This is so stupid. He is able to blow up an entire town from range. So there's this lady, I forget her name. She's the one with the llama. She's kind of like evil. She's like Jesse's rival, but she's kind of stupid about it. She's like, oh, my town's over there, blah, 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 blah. And the admin claps his hands together and the town just explodes. There was like a room full of puppies in that town, by the way, canonically. And the admin blew it up. Perhaps one of his most notable techniques is if you piss the admin off, I mean, this guy gets pissed off quite a bit, he can BFR you to multiple different places. This BFR is so potent, Sherm, if you can bring up the feat. He can BFR an entire room full of people. So this was in the prison when everyone was getting rowdy. He just BFRs the entire lot before appearing.
I have some things to say about the collector that you've kind of reminded me of.
Yeah, if you give me a minute to finish my normal stuff.
Yeah, okay.
So the BFR thing is important because that's his main fighting style. Have any of you seen 2001: A Space Odyssey?
Yeah.
When Jesse gets BFR'd from the normal world to the overworld, he goes through like the 2001: Space Odyssey, like, you know, when he's traveling through, there's all the colors. He goes through there. Some other stuff that Sherm kind of brought up that he kind of equalizes. He's able to telekinetically lift a group of people up. He can manipulate others' gravity. He can transmute items. He turned Jesse and Petra's stone like swords into smoke. He can fire electricity. He perhaps the most weird thing is that he is able to BFR. So one of the characters called Petra gets captured and corrupted by Stella. Yes, Stella. Thanks. Gets BFR'd to a place to kind of corrupt her, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this place, presumably again made by the admin, because he's making everything in this world, is described as messing with your perception of time. So even though she was in there for, I think, like a few days canonically, she says, like, in casual conversation, she's like, I thought I was in there for weeks. So he can send you to places that mess with your perception of senses and time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's the less kind of esoteric and I got something similar to your maybe Collector has this magic thing as well to talk about, so I think it's good if you...
So yeah, a couple things to touch on with the Collector that I forgot to bring up. Similar to the shape-shifting capabilities of the admin, the Collector can also shape-shift. One time he turns into a Collector-themed version of Pac-Man. Where he's just like a floating head that's like eating everything in front of him, and it's literally in like a Pac-Man maze. Fazbear Alt has a question on if a world is bedrock, does that mean just like each failed world is like on top of each other?
Yes. Yeah, it is canonically on top of the other world.
That is disconcerting cosmologically, but that sounds also it's kind of really cool though.
There are people left in these other worlds, by the way. There are entire like tribes of humans who have kind of like almost gone savage to a certain extent without like sunlight. Yeah, it's like Minecraft Story Mode, like the stuff that Admin does is really horrifying if it wasn't in Minecraft. And that's, I guess you can kind of apply that to some of the Collector stuff. It's kind of like a thing with reality wobblers, right? Where it's like they're very scary if they weren't in their children's kids mediums. Yeah,
that's the big thing with like Collectors. Everyone's like so scared of him and kind of wants to take him out. But King is like, we do have to keep in mind that he is like 7.
Yes, Romeo, I will say Romeo, we don't know how long Romeo has been an admin for. It would have to be at least a good, I would say bare minimum 100 years. But that's very debatable because admins don't really age from what we've seen.
Yeah. So yeah, the Collector shapeshifting, I brought the Pac-Man up because it's funny, but he can also just turn like into shadow. A lot of time people think that's just like he was sealed away and he could only manipulate shadows as a way to communicate. But we do see in like flashbacks, he does also just turn into shadows normally. Like he turns into like a net to capture someone. And then like he comes out of like and turns into like a shadow to move around. And then he can also similarly turn giants. So we could have like a giant brawl of big Collector versus Prismarine mech suit. I think that could be interesting. Yeah, I would say like the telekinesis might be interesting to compare because I might consider the Collector might have an advantage on the telekinesis because he's very precise and can like do a lot of things with it. But you know, I don't know about the admin. Maybe he also has a lot of very impressive like telekinetic feats in precision.
Yeah, he's able to like break down entire structures bit by bit and, you know, break them apart. I don't think it's as precise, but it's definitely, he's not just like flinging things around.
Okay, it's just when you said he can like pick up people, I was like, well, that's solid, but okay, then he's probably about, maybe he's pretty close to the collector.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah. I would say like similar to the admin teleporting people, collector has both a lot of portal creation and a lot of teleportation. Owl House is technically an isekai where the main character Luz goes from Earth to the Boiling Isles, and at the end of the series, when the door has been destroyed, collector just makes like his own portal door for them. And he also has like his own like pocket dimensions he can visit and go to. He has an entire pocket dimension that's exclusively for his bedroom, and he has another pocket dimension for like playing games. Where if he doesn't, I think Collector's a little considerate because he does like manipulate the entire Boiling Isles for fun. But if it's more like specific and it would like make the Boiling Isles not exist anymore, he does have his own like private dimensions to play certain games. Like he sent Luz and Ida and King to the Pac-Man dimension. Pin wants to know what Zoro has to say about this. I guess Zoro just hasn't talked a bunch yet. But yeah, he has portals to go between these dimensions, but also he can just teleport people to these dimensions and teleport himself like back and forth out of them. And he can also teleport people not just between dimensions, but also like anywhere else. Like one of the first things he does is he turns like people into puppets and then sends them to like his house in like the storage facility. But one time he says, "All right, hey King, let's play hide and seek, you and me versus the entire inhabitants of this island." And the loser goes to the moon for a month. So he could just teleport the entire populace of someone to the moon. So I don't know if like maybe like the dimensions he would send the collector to might have like some special like time warping ability, but I imagine like collector could just like, hey, that's rude, and then just come back.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that their BFR to teleportation kind of nullifies each other because they're both kind of have similar ranges of displayed teleportation.
Yeah. There are like some esoteric hacks, but sorry, was someone gonna say something?
Oh, I just had a question just to clarify one thing, because like
Sure.
I know Collector was sealed in the mirror like by the Titans. Was that specifically due to like the Titan magic, or is that like would it be possible for admin to like replicate that same scenario to like do that kind of thing to him?
It seems like the Titan had kind of like a power nullification seal as opposed to just like you're trapped in an object.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Just
I don't think Romeo could like send Collector somewhere else and Collector couldn't get back. But also I don't think Collector could send Romeo somewhere else and get back, which probably that'd be a good opening to the fight. Romeo just like It's like, oh, want to play? And I was like, go away, boom. And Clayton's like, oh, fun game. How about you? Boom. Romeo comes back, like, go away. I think that's such a funny. Hang on, that's such a funny opener. Both trying to BFR each other and popping back up and being like, oh, I guess we gotta play now.
I think that's like some more esoteric abilities, but I'm kind of curious when we just stick with like the more basic, like
I've gone over all my basic stuff.
Yeah, like
so
throwing hands, telekinetically attacking each other. Like, who do we think would have like the better abilities? Because I think like the comprehensive telekinesis and having like a bunch of elemental spells would maybe give the collector a slight advantage in normal combat.
I would argue that the telekinesis thing. Collector is more precise, which can be decently important, but you have to remember that the movement feat that the admin is doing is not just the moon, it's the sun as well. So, like, both of those stellar bodies have to be moved and raised, and one has to be permanently frozen in place.
Oh, so I kind of thought it was just like a time thing, but it's not just a time thing, it's like literally like moving the sun and the moon.
Yeah, that's what, I mean, that's the only way that he would be able to have, use his powers like that.
Oh, I completely misunderstood. I thought it was genuinely just like a time thing.
You'd also have to think of the admin creates everything in this new world, so he would be creating the moon and the sun.
That's fair. That's fair.
Because he bedrocks over the old ones, which that's an interesting question. He kind of maybe bedrocks over No, he stops Light from getting over there.
Mhm.
Yeah, so he presumably is creating a new sun. Okay, who treats opponents more seriously, been asked? That's, I think admin, when admin, like, when admin first is, like, at Jesse and stuff, he, the only reason why he isn't, like, fighting him and stuff is because he wants to be friends with him. However, there is a bit within the story where admin he becomes Petra, who is like I talked about, Jesse's best friend, and gets into a sword fight with Jesse, and is able to keep up with Jesse in sword combat, which is pretty interesting considering Jesse is very skilled and very experienced when it comes to like sword fighting and stuff. And when he wants to fight Jesse, he does take him seriously. The only reason why he doesn't like take Jesse specifically seriously is because of like he wanted to be friends with Jesse initially. Apart from that, he takes everyone else is treated very seriously, right? It just kind of hones in on Jesse for the admin.
So the collector's a 7, maybe 8.
Yeah.
I would say like, so you could argue there's a lot of strategic anti-feats on the collector's end throughout the finale of the show. I would like to point out that the collector certainly has had his moments where he like locks in, is like, oh, I'm mad at you, so I'm gonna make X, Y, and Z happen. And he does kind of very competently like fight around and dodge attacks and like pull off maneuvers before people can really do anything to like stop him. Mm-hmm. He's not necessarily like dumb, but if I'm being fully honest, the collector has been just like caught off guard fairly easily. I would say like as you can trick him, like you can trick other 8-9-year-olds.
I would also say that's kind of important as well, because the person who admin killed and replaced was a guy called Voss, who was this kind of old friend, like pretty good friend to this Snake Plissken looking character, who I'm blanking on the name. He looks exactly like he's got the eye patch and everything. Mm-hmm. And he pretends to be Voss for at least 2 days. And I mean, they talk quite closely and always are like the best of friends. And he manages to trick like everybody, not just the best friend, who you could maybe argue, oh, is blinded because it's his best friend. Like, I don't know if Shroom's a skinwalker right now. He might be. But like everybody else, like Jesse, Petra, all the people who come along the adventures, don't tell it's Voss. So he is very tricksy and deceiving when he wants to be.
Okay. Do we want to potentially... I will say, like, Collector is competent. He did, like, defeat the entire Boiling Isles at once. Mm-hmm. You can argue that might have just been due to overwhelming power. Yeah. But the Boiling Isles does have a lot of very smart, intelligent, tricky people. And they couldn't, like, really immediately do anything about him. So it's not like his naivete makes him, like, incapable of fighting. It just means, like, if they're equal, they might have a slight advantage over him is all.
Yeah.
It's not going to be, like, a debilitation. It just might be, like, someone else has the advantage.
Jack, yes, Jack. That's his name. Thank you. I'm like, forget all the names. There's so many characters to talk about when it comes to Minecraft story mode.
I forgot to ask earlier, but I want some clarification on the admin's supposed, like, indestructibility. Is it, like, a durability thing? Do weapons just, like, go through him? Is it, like...
It just seems to be that you can't hurt him with, like, normal attacks.
Okay.
It seems to be, like, an invulnerability to natural damage.
Do we think, like, if Goku punched him, that would work?
I don't know, because invulnerability and characters who arguably have higher stats get really weird, but like nothing in the conceivable world can hurt Collector, and this could even apply to stuff that like should hurt him, like potions of like harming, which kind of do like instant damage, and like potions of poison, right?
So
and they don't try and poison the admin.
Is that something I wonder? Because if it's just like we've never seen anything hurt him, then I could argue it's like that could be like a no limits fallacy kind of situation. But if it's like he messes like with the programming to like mean like he doesn't like take damage, then like that could be like a different thing.
Oh no, I don't think. I think it's just kind of like he is creative mode, so he's like above it. Like other like the Romeo did explicitly kill Fred. I just mean like I don't know if like if the collector tries to like wrap him up or something, if that's gonna do like damage.
Like if we just say like, not to like get ahead of the debate, but if like
yeah.
hypothetical collector's like a bajillion times stronger and he just tries to like crush him with telekinesis, would you say that like
I
that
would
just
say
wouldn't
yes.
work?
I'd say that would work.
Okay, all right.
Because I feel like telekinesis is like an inherently. I think stuff like conventional man-made weapons of swords within like
Okay.
Minecraft of like the swords and the bows and stuff. Like if you take a sword and you swing it at the admin, I don't think that would work. But if you pick him up with telekinesis and crush him like a fucking balloon, then yes, that would work.
All right.
I didn't really want to like.
Gotcha,
I didn't really want to stay on it.
I feel that. I feel you. So do we want to kind of move into like more like esoteric hacks, or do we want to go into
Let's go
stats?
esoteric. I can go. I don't have a lot for esoteric.
You don't have a lot, or you do have a lot?
I don't have a lot.
All right.
So, including his creation and stuff, the collector is the admin. I guess he is a collector. He does collect things. Not really. He is able to create and fuse together Minecraft enemies. So he makes like one of the big things that he makes in the I guess it's like the underworld is like a giant fucking Enderman that towers over everybody. He makes like hybrids. He makes like icy Enderman. So he's got this mini little. I don't think any of them are really going to do anything to Collector apart from be distractions, and maybe I don't know. An Enderman could probably teleport him around a little bit. But it is still like something of note. He is able to again, I've said create explosions, mess with gravity. He is able to just cause death in people, like a Duraneg type death, right? He in one of the other people's, he ends up like choking them out by I think his telekinesis, I believe. But in others, he just causes like they just die, and they do like the Minecraft death particle thing, right? So he can just kill somebody, and it's not like it doesn't seem like it to be like a biological thing, right? Because their bodies. Oof. I mean, that's the thing that happens in Minecraft as well, but I still don't think it's a biological. It's like a Duraneg thing more than anything. Perhaps important for this debate, and I feel is actually really important, is he was able to take away the powers of Zara. Which implies some weird things because Fred, the other admin, needed like this golden gauntlet thing to make something to be able to remove the powers of the admin. The admin just like did it to Zara. And she was just another admin, right? Same power set. Admins shouldn't be different between the two of them. Same power set, same everything, and he was able to just blip and then send her to the Sunshine Institute. While the Fred admin needed to make an entire gauntlet to even attempt to begin to power nullify the admin, because he can't be power nullified instantly. When they make the gauntlet, which this gauntlet is specifically for taking away the admin's powers, right? They've got to like punch him multiple times to strip him of all of his powers. He does he keeps some of his powers. It's like a progressive losing thing, right? Like he loses them the more and more that he gets hit. And then a little bit more debatable, I would say, is anything that he would be able to get thanks to the command block. So the command block is kind of weird to talk about within Minecraft Story Mode. It is the ultimate power source of the Witherstorm. And is used by the Order of the Order within the Order of the Stone to defeat the Ender Dragon. Whether he scales to the command block or not is down to your interpretation. Although I would say he would likely scale to the command block, given that it is a item that is created and able to be used. And if you take the whole, like, he bedrocked over the first world and made everything else again, right? He would have to make the command block for it to exist within the world, right?
Right.
The command block, the Order of the Stone, or the Order of the Frauds, as I like to call them, went around telling people like, oh yeah, we defeated the Ender Dragon, blah, 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 blah. The main guy used the command block and erased the Ender Dragon from existence.
Mhm.
Like, in a blast, he was holding the command block, he just blasted it, and it was removed from existence entirely.
Okay.
I think that's kind of oh, he has a little bit of regeneration as well. When the snowman first appears, again a construct that he can become, one of the characters runs up and like beheads the snowman, and the snowman grows a new head. This is Hold of the Stone slander fucking deserved. I didn't know this fandom hated. I didn't know there was a fandom for this, and I didn't know they hated the Order so much. I only like the explosive one. I think his name like Marcus. Anyway, the snowman also is very interesting because instead of the normal teleportation, which the admin kind of demonstrates, which is like purple particles and then like disappears and reappears in purple particles, right? This snowman does a like deconstruction reconstruction thing, kind of similar to, you know how Bellows teleports?
Yeah.
In the end of season 1, where he breaks himself down and then builds himself back up. The snowman can do the same, and the snowman is the admin, and it's a form he can take. So there's no reason why the regeneration should be limited to that form. So he's a pretty hard bastard to kill.
All right.
That's it for esoteric stuff.
So we've talked about a lot of potential just like instant death, which I think there's a certain interpretation of how the collector works that may be relevant to this. Now, I will say this is interpretation based, but I have gathered a bit of evidence for this. So just hear me out first. I think it's very possible collectors and archivists don't have the concept of death. In that, like, I don't think like death is necessarily applicable to them the normal way. Now, I was doing this for a couple of reasons. One, when Luz and King are like, some of the stuff you do might like kill these people. Collector's just like, oh, that's fine. I'll just put them back together. That doesn't matter. And they're like, do you not have like a concept of like what death means? And then like, which I get that he's a small child, but I would like think even like when I was like 8, 9, I understood the concept of like something can die and then stop functioning and then it can never come back again.
Well, hold it, Shu.
That's why I asked to go all the way first.
Yeah.
I have things.
Oh, yeah. No. I just have 2 things I'm thinking of on the spot, and I'm wondering if maybe your next points can counter them. So
Okay.
That's right. Sorry, I thought you were done. I was just going to ask, like, one, like, the Archivists are, like, the most powerful things in the Owl House, right next to the Titans.
Yeah.
Could they not be challenged as to die? And 2, could it mean to be, like... Because they're pretty, like, ageless, I must imagine, in general, to be around for, like, thousands of years. So could it just be that?
Potentially, but I have some other things to say about that. Even when Luz died in front of him, and like Luz literally like disintegrated into light particles, he was like, "Oh, I'll just fix that," and he snaps. And that's not like it means it's an ability he can't do. The reason this wasn't working is because Bellis' Moss had gotten onto him at this point and was taking away his powers. There's no reason why he wouldn't just be able to bring Luz back to life. And I think why this is important is later. So some of the previews we've been seeing for the graphic novel that's gonna be coming out soon is like Collector and King trying to even understand what death is. And something that's very interesting to me is King, who is also a Titan, who is another ageless creature. He says King is a semi-immortal being and Collector is a fully immortal being. To me, drawing a difference between the Titans who just live and can just keep living, and the collectors who are like genuinely immortal. I would say,
My-
like, depending on how things go, it might be hard to argue for this cast, but there's a good possibility that, like, the collectors might not have, like, a state of death, and they would have to be, like, destroyed and not just, like, made to be dead, because I don't think they have a version of death.
The counter that I have to that is we kind of know that king species do age.
Well, they
Like,
do age.
Papa Titan, right? Like, even if they're around for a really long time, that could just be implying that they're around for like a really long time and then they expire. Well, it could also be implying that the collector is like ageless. My one issue with this is there's a lot of ifs and buffs here. There's nothing too concrete for either side of our argument, and it leans kind of into no limits to be like these things entirely line up to make it that there's no concept of death right now, and there's no, like, I agree that there might be supporting evidence in the future, and that could be really interesting. But I think right now, I think both are just as likely as each other, because both have ways that you can interpret it as, yes, this is so, to no, this is so.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm not gonna like argue it too hard
Oh,
as
yeah.
like some kind of objective thing. I just thought, for the sake of this cast, it'd be worth bringing up.
Oh, it's an interesting discussion for sure.
Yeah.
And like when that comic drops, I would love to just casually revisit because it
I
could be
remember
very
when I saw all the scans on Twitter, and I was like, wait, it didn't come out yet, did it? Where'd everyone get this thing? And then it's just like a small like segment and not like the whole thing. But I like panicked for a second. I was like, did I miss it? Yeah. But into like some things that the collector actually has, which could be interesting, kind of a hacks to get around it. The collector transmutes a lot of people. A big thing he does is he like shoots a laser at someone. Well, it's like a sticker, but looks like a laser, and then they turn into a puppet, and they have no free will of their own. And not only that, but collector actually has full control over them, and they still retain their abilities. I just kind of have an image for visualization here. In Owl House, there's a bunch of different types of magic, and then there's a Coven Head who's like the best of that specific type of magic. And then the Collector took control of all of them, and they were just like at his beck and call, and he could make them do whatever he wanted them to do. And something that's interesting is that the Collector is asleep right now, and these guys are just in like terms of like pre-programmed stuff. So if Collector was like, all right, puppets, attack this guy, even if for whatever reason the collector was temporarily incapacitated, the puppets would still be like going at it and doing stuff. So I think that's worth noting. Just to briefly talk about the puppets, they have like some standard Owl House magic, nothing big deal. The two big ones I'd like to talk about are Rain and Gus, because Rain has Bard magic, which is incredibly versatile. One of the things bards can do is like they can like make magic just stop working. Like, Rain was like strumming on his string instrument that I forget the name of, and like other guards, like their magic just like couldn't function anymore. It's like they've temporarily lost the ability to do magic, and they also have the ability to just put people to sleep. They have like sleeping spells and sleeping songs, and they also have like they have a way that they can like make your body start like dancing. They have Odo's irresistible dance on deck. So I think like there's some fun stuff. I'm not sure if those would all work on admin, because I don't know what admin's resistances are. But there's a lot of different hacks. Like they could maybe put him to sleep, maybe make him dance, maybe make him like unable to use some of his abilities.
I guess a few things is ultimately I don't think transmutation would work because the collector can shapeshift and change his form from giant prismarine colossuses to icemen. And Infinite Bread brings up in chat, I believe they can still think since Lucy's mom cries after hearing something, so Romeo could possibly still use his powers. Another thing about the army is this is really good, but as I talked about at the start, Romeo's main technique when things are pissing him off is to BFR the entire fucking thing away. And even if the collector can pull them back, that is a lot of mental effort that needs to happen while Romeo is trying to kill them, right? Like, if the collector is even able to teleport like a bunch of them in, there's nothing stopping Romeo again, because he can seemingly have multiple consciousnesses, to have the snowman version of him just sending them away while the admin Romeo is attacking the collector. So while you could probably argue that maybe some of this stuff would work, although I question the debatability on the sleep stuff. I don't really know if he needs. I don't even know if maybe I'm a little bit confused myself, but I think the BFR could do this, or even just I think it's mainly the BFR thing, but him being able to he could just destroy them as well, because again, using his explosions and stuff, which are wide enough to destroy a city. Well, at least I don't know if he destroyed all of it, but at least really badly damaged it. He could just one. He wasn't even looking at the explosion when he did it, by the way. He was looking away. He was looking at it, and the explosion happened. He could just blow up the entire puppet.
I think that the idea of a second Romeo constantly BFRing them while the main Romeo focuses on Collector is a pretty strong argument, because Collector doesn't really have the same kind of duplication.
Yeah.
Some of the same abilities. But I would like to say, just in regards to it taking a lot of mental effort, the Collector is capable of teleporting the entire populace of the Boiling Isles to the moon.
Oh, yeah.
So I imagine even if that feat was something that would take a lot of effort, I think just grabbing 10 of the relevant puppets wouldn't be too hard. But that's just one of the arguments, not all of them.
Oh yeah. I still think having the Snowman, Iceman on standby to either just send them away or just destroy them, or to okay, well, I'm going to make you deal with the big Enderman, right? Or the three-headed Ghast, or the Ice Enderman. Because even though I admitted that they were weak against the Collector, against regular people, they can be pretty frightening.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
So I'm ready to get into stats if you are, and I'm...
Actually, I have a lot more to talk about with the Collector, but I guess I'll try to hurry through it then. So just to say about him destroying the puppets, they are puppet material, and Collector can just recreate these objects. The only reason he couldn't do it to Luz, who is a fleshy human, was because he was power nulled at the time, and he puts together toys all the time. I think Collector could very easily, even if they were disintegrated, he could just snap the puppets back together if he wanted to. So yeah, just the last couple of hacks that are very important is not only can he turn people into puppets, but he can also turn people into scrolls. The Collector kind of invented werewolves in this verse, because as part of the collection process, one of the ways to keep them in storage is to turn them into a scroll, and someone can use this scroll to turn someone into a werewolf of that thing. So if you turned a wolf into a scroll, you could use that scroll to turn someone into a werewolf. Collector turned the owl beast into a scroll, and then someone used that scroll to turn Ida into a werewolf. Or into the harpy lady that she is now. And something that's very interesting about this is the Collector didn't shoot a beam at the owl beast or anything. The owl beast was flying away from the Collector, and then it just turned into a scroll. So it seems to be something the Collector can do with just a thought, is turn you into a scroll, and then someone could read that scroll and turn them into a were admin, which would be weird, but that's something that makes sense. That seems to be how the
I guess. I mean, if admin could just turn back from the scroll.
Potentially. There's also the Collector has very interesting dream manipulation, because Collector can force you into a dream, and then he can control what's happening in that dream. So he could potentially just send Romeo into a dream where he has less power or something, and then he could just, I don't know if he can kill you in the dream. There's never any implication of
Freddy Krueger does.
Freddy Krueger, where if you die in the dream, you die in real life. But while you're in this dream being tormented, your physical body is just incapacitated. So he could send Romeo into a dream, at which point there's a very specific Owl House based way to get out of it with Titan magic. And I'm not sure if Romeo would have access to that same type of magic.
He's got it.
Because it's not teleportation or anything. It's
yeah.
Titan magic to specifically wear away the Archivist magic. I think that if Romeo gets put into a dream, then he's just open for a Collector to do whatever he wants to his physical body.
Sure. The only thing to say about that is if there was another admin.
Well, so is it like a hive mind, or are they like separate
they
consciousness?
seem to be separate consciousnesses because they're able to act on their own. Like the Iceman and Voss are able to have two different conversations at once and interact with the same people and say different things. They seem to be two separate kind of entities.
And the last thing I want to say before we get into stats, well, actually, I want to say the collector might be able to eat gravity. I don't know what that means, but I feel like that was funny to mention. And also, he has Puppet of Gus, and Gus has very potent illusions. Like, Gus could just pull, like, a Mysterio on the admin. Or he could potentially even, like, drag up traumatic memories, similar to what Professor X did with Magneto with the Holocaust beam.
Would you have to know them?
He does not. The Gus is, like,
Oh.
hallucination that like brings up bad memories is like an aura that just kind of happens if you're near him. So the Gus potentially, if collector's like, hey Gus, fuck him up, Gus could potentially like mind hacks the admin, which could be interesting.
Tries to make Gus mind hacks, and then an admin goes, okay, instant death in Gus. It's like you know when Tree Trunks blows up in Adventure Time.
Yeah.
And everyone's like horrified afterwards.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if Gus gets it off, that could be bad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I guess we can go into hacks now. I've brought up a lot of the stuff I wanted.
Do you mean stats?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to start? Because I've got a little bit of a long-winded cosmological explanation to mine.
Yeah, sure. So I think a big question I forgot to take this down. I apologize. So a big question for Owl House scaling, a big thing that I always ask is, does this character get collector scaling? And I'd like to answer that question for this one is, does the collector get collector scaling? This has been heavily debated, but I have a couple reasons why I think the collector will get collector scaling. For one, he's an archivist, which is the same type of entity as the collector. So I think like we can use that to imply they're also in a similar tier. And they also seems to imply the collector is a step above Luz and Bellows, who also have arguments for downscaling to the collector. So I think it's fairly fair and concrete to say I think the collector should get collector scaling.
I don't know. It sounds like a hard sell to me.
Well, just go with me. Just go with me.
All right. I'll hear you out.
So here's some of the things that collector can do. I've titled this video "The Thing That Everyone Knows About." This is where collector just moves the moon like he's an iPad kid. This is a pretty good feat. It's been based on the speed of how fast he does it. Seems to be large planet level or a dwarf star level, depending on how you calc it.
I don't want to interrupt you, but this has always been my favorite moment of an idea of the fight whenever brought it up, which is admin uses his Prismarine Colossus and is kind of like, oh, we're going to play with the collector, and the collector goes, okay, let's play catch, and starts pulling the moon down towards the Prismarine Colossus. The Colossus kind of looks towards it, goes, oh no, pulls out the clock and starts like rotating it as fast as he can as the moon lifts upwards and is replaced by the sun, and he goes, phew.
It's really funny.
That's my favorite moment I've ever thought about this. Is the idea of him spamming it from night, because I imagine that the admin would want to summon monsters, so he would make it night in the first place.
Yeah.
It was mentioned earlier that everybody was teleported to the moon from the Boiling Isles at some point.
Well, Collector was talking about wanting to do that. That's like part of a game.
What if he did that and then they both started spinning the moon round?
And then everybody just went flying. Yeah. So this is impressive. Oh, and I forgot to mention the fact that Collector can turn people into puppets means he could just turn all the monsters into puppets. I doubt that's relevant to the admin, but I just thought that'd be like a fun interaction, maybe. Yeah. He also has a bunch of star minions that can also turn people into puppets. Maybe one of the star minions could sneak admin. Who knows? Anyway, on to stats. This is also a speed feat because at the speed he moves the moon, this has been calculated to be roughly about like 10% the speed of light. So that's pretty good. Do you want to go into AP and speed or just...
Yeah, you can just do the whole shebang.
Yeah. So like at a low level, because this is a blatant feat, it's like large planet, dwarf star, and like 10% light speed. But there are some higher ends for where the collector can scale. I brought this image up in another debate against Saul, so I'll bring up the image again because
this feels traumatic. I'm scared.
It was just a very funny image to illustrate the collector's speed. The collector
Not
was
again!
the collector stated to fly amongst the stars, and based on the time frame and how this makes sense, he'd have to be like on an absolute low end, be just like double the speed of light. But even going with like the most like basic, understated explanations of like what the collector was doing, this would be like thousands of times faster than light, just flying amongst the stars like he does. He does sometimes get caught off guard by Owl House characters, but that could just be because he's like 7 and doesn't really know how to fight good. When he's like locked in trying to do something, he basically always like outspeeds and does something before the Owl House crew can really like react or do anything about it. So him being like faster and having feats that no one else scales to is consistent. So potentially either slightly or massively FTL. And in terms of like higher end interpretations for stats, there is a statement where Collector has a galaxy-sized room.
No.
The actual room itself being galaxy-size is fairly clear-cut because it's like all of his dimensions seem to have like stars in them, and like them being that size is fairly like a non-issue. The big contention is like, did Collector create these realms, or were they just like sitting around there and he just create portals to them, because it's a bit of a jump in power to go from like galaxy level. I think like if we just wanted to go with like Occam's razor, the most obvious explanation, I think it would make sense for Collector to have just created the room with the giant floating Rubik's Cube in it and the bedroom that he sleeps in, as opposed to like there just being like these random pocket dimensions floating around that Collector has access to and found. However, I will agree that there's no like hard evidence. We never see him blatantly making these realms. So like you could argue against it, and the galaxy level's like a high end. But yeah, I'm not gonna argue too hard, but I will say like I think it's a reasonable high end for his power. So like low end dwarf star, 10% light speed, high end galaxy level 8,000 times faster than light.
Okay. So I'm gonna get into some interesting stuff. So the low end of both is, as I've shown you, the admin is able to move both the moon and the sun as celestial bodies, which would get to like star level, right?
Wait,
there's
can you say that one more time for me?
moving the moon and the sun gets to star level because you move the sun.
I do have a question, but I'll hold it for later.
What's your question?
I was just wondering, like, do we know like the size of, because I've heard like Minecraft moon and sun stuff can be weird.
I guess, but I mean I've got other stuff.
Okay, fair enough.
I have a very funny other argument as well. You talked about the galaxy bed. That's a casual thing. So there's this place called the Terminal Space, which is the Romeo's hub, the admin kind of Romeo hub point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is specifically a dimension filled with stars. Like you see the stars in the background and all that. Bloody 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 blah. Even if you like, we don't really know who made it. It doesn't really matter because they all scale the same. Even if you want to be like, I guess, kind of a little bit disingenuous and assume that that each admin had a 1 in 3 part of it, it would still be at least multi-star up to galaxy level, depending on your interpretations.
Okay.
For low-end speed stuff, Minecraft Story Mode has been a very lacking verse for speed for the longest time, especially in the low tiers, to the point where our fastest feats are a little bit silly. The Witherstorm is able to fly from the Order's Temple to Redstonia in less than a day, and if you calculate the distances, that gets to Mach 1. But even faster than the final boss of it is Dan TDM, who within the... I'm not joking. Don't give me that look. Dan TDM, the YouTuber, within the horror murder mystery, in between 2 different dialogues, changes his hair color. And this is calculated, I shit you not, at Mark 2 to Mark 5 from changing his hair color.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, when Romeo loses his power, the terminal void breaks down. So he's like actively sustaining the starry dimension as well. Which would scale to AP because his power is the one actively sustaining it. It's not like a make a thing and then it holds itself up naturally. I don't know if you can say the same for Collector.
Like if just scaling like magic to physical AP.
I guess that's fine. There's some other stuff as well. Jesse is able to build up to clouds at Mark 20, outrun a creeper explosion at Mark 22, and there is a debatable relativistic speed feat of reacting to the Elder Guardian's laser blasts, which gets to 11% the speed of light. However, it's debatable if they're actual lasers, right?
Yeah.
They might not show consistent properties. However, let's talk about bedrocking. Bedrocking is a technique where the admin bedrocks over the entire world. Bedrock is something that he has created, right? Being able to destroy like the bedrock is basically impossible. The only thing who is able to deal with the bedrock is the Witherstorm, who is able to absorb it. I don't even think he could absorb the bedrock. That's a feat that gets to like 32 megatons, by the way. That's no point. But bedrock itself is specifically created to prevent the first world from being uncovered, right?
Right.
And the bedrock's durability should be comparable to the basically himself, his own powers, right? Because nobody is able to break it. It's even debatable if Romeo's able to break the bedrock because he's teleporting between it, not breaking in through the underworld, right? Romeo, also, you have to say, he isn't half-arsing this job, right?
Right.
He is trying to hide these worlds completely, make sure society collapses. How big Minecraft Story Mode is a little bit debatable and is up to different people's interpretation. If you believe that this is a like Undertale to Deltarune situation, the admin being able to build and bedrock over the world would get into a universal scale, arguably infinitely universal, because of Minecraft worlds are infinite, right?
So we're
He's
saying
winking.
he laid down like an infinite amount of bedrock?
To cover the world, yeah. If you believe the infinite interpretations. However, I don't.
Okay.
I wanted to bring that up just in case, because some people do buy it, and I'm not telling you what not to buy and what to buy. That's not my fucking job.
He's not your dad, I think.
I was going to make a joke, but I shouldn't. This is a PG show. So we kind of know that the Minecraft Story Mode world, it's really big, but it does roughly have a decent endpoint called the Farlands. The Farlands are actually in Minecraft. And one of the Order of Stones, the biggest fraud of them all, the ginger guy, forget his name, describes the Farlands as being where logic gives chaos, right? It's where it breaks down. The Far Worlds are about 12,550,821 blocks away from the normal Minecraft world. Imagine a block equaling 1 meter.
Okay.
You can assume that the world, the mapped out world at least, is 25,101 by 35 million 8 meters width and length. Like if you look at it, right? However, this is deeper than like the normal Minecraft world because Minecraft Bedrock appears a lot earlier. This can go way deeper than that. And there's also another world underneath the main one, which is what he, bedrocked in the first place. All that being said, this should be a universal scale, or at least I would say it's kind of weird because it's like millions in meters, right? So this should be either like an arguable galaxy to even universal scale for the Minecraft story mode world of what he is able to bedrock. And what's important for this in terms of like AP and stuff, he is able to recreate everything in this in the second and what he was trying to do the third world, right?
I'm a little confused how it got from like 1,000,000 meters to universe sized.
Because it's debatable if those numbers are explicitly where it ends. Those are just like what the characters have explored.
Okay.
There's also the universe thing could be backed up by there are more worlds that exist within Minecraft story mode, such as the Never and the End, and these would have to be kind of rebuilt, kind of so like one can't access the other because they do exist in Minecraft story mode. Now, what's important about this is kind of speed, because this isn't really something that I see people bring up. But the admin bedrocks over the entire world. He is using his powers to do that himself, right? And he is spreading this, and then stops it. And again, he's not half-assing this job, right? But he has to stop it because, like, the bedrock, sometimes the bedrock on the roof can generate a little bit downwards, right? So he has to make sure it's not generating downwards. Does that kind of make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I get. So what do you mean it's not generating downwards?
So it's not like, so imagine like a roof, right?
Right.
Imagine if the roof kept on going down until it reached the floor.
So I kind of have a thought that when he bedrocked the world, he kind of just laid like a giant, like flat plate of
No.
incredibly
It
huge-
builds. It builds. It's messy and it builds. It's not flat.
It's messy.
Yeah, it's in like chunks. Anyway, to build all this across an entire world, I have not done the calculations myself in terms of specific numbers because it's kind of hard with everything that I've given. But this would be getting into the much faster than light ranges to be able to do this all. In like seconds, he starts bedrocking and I believe covers most of the second world.
So each plane in Minecraft is like a universe-sized flatland, and he puts like a universe-sized amount of bedrock on top of that flatland.
Yes. Minecraft story mode, everyone.
God damn.
So like the Minecraft world isn't planet-sized.
Hmm?
So like the Minecraft world isn't planet-sized.
The normal Minecraft world is, yes.
But Minecraft story mode is a different planet that's like universe-sized.
Yeah, because there's no like there's different dimensions rather than like planets and space and all that. Even if it's not universe sized, being able to stop on a planetary scale would get you to MFTL.
I mean, I have no arguments against it. I'm just saying, like, it's weird to think about.
It's peak. For the Red said, yes, it is. It's a very weird feat that nobody has ever brought up because I don't think anybody has needed to think about this stuff the same way that I have, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he is able to spread a like amount of bedrock to fully cover the roof because it arguably extends upwards. We don't know the limit of how much it extends upwards, but it has to be enough to where Romeo can place down bedrock and build an entire new world above it, right? And then threaten to do that for a third time.
And we know, like, it's like a reaction. Like he reacts to it. It's not just like you take like a Photoshop brush and like say put bedrock all over here.
No, because they're generated in like different locations that like build into each other. So one here, one here, one here, one here, and like parts of it when they generate in chunks can generate downwards, right?
Right.
So he would kind of have to know and react to where they're being placed.
So he can't just say like make a rectangle of bedrock this big and put it down.
But he hasn't shown that, no.
So he does it like block by block.
At chunks, so like multiple blocks.
Weird.
It is.
So do we see Admin like super speeding around like it's the Lego movie and he's like a master builder? Like
No. It's just the entire world shakes and it just starts to happen. Uh-oh. That shit's going on.
what's going on? I guess like I'm just like it's weird to think about like what Admin's reacting to.
He's stopping the bed rocking from spreading. Like when he finishes it. And it is able to spread over the world in at least under a minute.
All right, so it's so the bedrock's like so is he putting every chunk there or is it like an automatic process?
It seems to just be happening. But again, it's via his powers.
I guess I'm just confused because like if he's making it then he wouldn't have to react to stop, he would just have to stop making it. But if like it's an automatic process,
Yeah,
then
yes, but the bedrock is spreading on like it's able to cover a thing in a minute. He has to know when to stop it to react to be able to stop it. Otherwise, it would just keep spreading.
well, yeah,
He's
but
trying
like
to cover it.
if we were to like do the math equation, wouldn't we say like Romeo stopped it after X amount of time, and the distance it spread would be the speed, not. I feel like we're
No,
math equation. We're doing it backwards.
No, it would be speed equals distance divided by time, the time that it takes and the distance that it takes, and then he's stopping that.
Yeah, but
I feel
like
like
him stopping it
really-
would be how we get the time. I'm just saying. Like, I apologize.
I feel like
I'm
we're
not
getting
trying to
really
be
hung up
too-
as a juror. I feel like we're getting very hung up as you as a debater.
I mean, that's not my job. The debate.
I mean, do the jury want more context for this feat?
I think from what I'm hearing, it's like say one of those carnival games where you have to stop the thing at a certain point perfectly. Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'll just keep spinning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think it's plausible enough.
And it makes sense considering he's done it twice.
Mm-hmm. If he gets interrupted, does it just keep going?
He kind of disappears into the new world so nobody can reach him.
Mm-hmm.
Because like when he's like, I'm just gonna build a new world, Jesse, he just disappears and it starts happening.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to argue too hard because I don't have I don't have a direct experience with the feat itself. But the way it's described just feels like a little weird to me. Like there's not something that's like adding up fully with like how this would be a feat. But it seems I don't have the right knowledge to argue it right now.
Anything else we need to talk about? That's it for stats.
So like outside of that, like infinite speed, it's an MFTL feat. Is there any other speed feats in that range?
Not really. Not that I could know of.
Okay. Weird.
Do we want to go into finals?
I suppose we might as well.
As someone who's sweating to death? I don't know if you got the poll. I don't know if somebody else has the poll in chat.
I can start setting up the poll.
Okay. Do you want to explain while you're doing it why you win?
You're gonna explain why I win?
No, do you want to explain why you win?
Sure. Yeah, if the admin's like just like absurdly faster and absurdly stronger, then it'll be a tough sell for Collector to win. But I don't know. I think like at the more reasonable ends, like Collector should be faster, and he has plenty of attacks that would work, like putting him to sleep, making him relive awful memories. Like he resisted a couple of those punches that were like affecting him, but also like Collector would be like could constantly be putting on like the effect to transform him. So even if it like took some time, that could eventually work. He has a lot of specific hacks that I think could work on the admin. So even if like Collector's not strong enough to do it because he's like I guess we'd have to like compare the worlds they're affecting. I think like okay, so Collector's like galaxy level potentially from the galaxy level rooms. And admin, I guess, is Is he star level or is he universal from his realm feats?
I would say that's probably closer to the end of his galaxy room stuff. Of his own star room.
I'm asking, like, if is admin is him like creating worlds? Is that like?
I would probably say closer to planet than uni.
Oh.
But again, I already mentioned the galaxy room, similar thing to you.
I've lost track of what ends and how strong and fast admin is, so I'm just gonna say Collector's faster and stronger. If stats are similar, I think Collector has a lot of hacks that would take down the admin. I think his realms are stated to be galaxy level, and I think that he has like better speed feats. So I would say that Collector could just like either out hacks or just overpower the admin.
I know you tripped up, but then when you said I would say that twice, and I was thinking of fucking Fog Hog Leg. I say.
Collector wins. I think admin stats are inflated and wrong and no good. Okay. And his powers
I guess
aren't as good, and I win.
I'll kick mine off.
Yeah.
So I feel like at the most reasonable ends for both, they should be matching with their celestial body movement. At the higher end interpretation, they both have very similar galaxy room feat, with admins being more concrete that he is actively sustaining it, and has an arguably even higher feat if you buy the universal bedrocking. Speed, it literally just comes into your interpretation of the bedrocking feat, but again, by the thing that he is reacting and being able to stop it from infinitely building over the world and continuing downwards, meaning that he should be comfortably faster. Either way, there is a big discrepancy in terms of their fighting styles of admin. Is again, while he is an individual who can get mad and rage baited, that just kind of leads him to going for a lot of his instant win options. And in a fight like this, there has been no real counters for him to be able to just power nullify Collectors straight away, like he did to the other admin who had the exact same powers. While Collector could definitely power nullify admin with enough hits, the admin just really needs to do it once to fully remove. They have a very similar list of powers, but a lot of the stuff that the Collector does, such as transmutation, some of the army stuff, are just going to be countered. If there's another admin in the fight, that adds even more difficulty, especially with the constructs that it can make to counter the army. I think this is a really debatable matchup, and I think this is pretty close, but I think the admin is going to make Collector regret this playdate.
All right, then. Zoro, what is going through your head right now?
All right, so this is actually a really, really tough call to make because, like, I can see both. I do think that, as far as, like, raw stats go, they are generally... I'm generally buying that they somewhat match each other on that strength. And they definitely have their means of, like, taking the others out at given moment. What turns it for me is that, the admin is more of an adult and has experience dealing with two other admins of similar power before, while the Collector is very inexperienced child. I know he's been around for 1,000 years, but, he has not really matured to, like, adult sensibilities. And when compared to his other siblings, he kind of got tricked and screwed over by them. So I do feel like if it comes down to like, if neither has like an inherent advantage and it comes down to which one is able to have enough experience to overcome the other first, I think the admin has a better case for like getting that opportunity to seize the victory over the collector just due to like experience. So I am going to cast my vote for the admin.
God damn, we got 16 votes. That's a lot.
All right, we got one for the admin. Comet, what are you thinking?
Yes. This one, I'll be honest, I came into this not knowing much about either of these guys. Like, I had heard of them. They are very close. Just to check, they both got sealed via power nullification. How was it that happened for the collector specifically? Getting
The collector is a vulnerability to Titan magic, and the
Ah.
Titan sealed it in a mirror, I believe.
okay.
Yes, a mirror.
So it was the Titan magic specifically that power nullified it.
I don't really know how much I can say during final arguments.
Yeah, hang on.
I would-
Yeah, fair enough. I'll be honest. I don't know if the admin can replicate Titan magic. That's tricky. On the basis that the random hero was somehow able to punch the admin several times despite his higher speed, and I'm not sure if he can replicate Titan magic, I'll go for the collector.
Oh.
We have one vote for the collector, and I will end the poll. And the admin has won the YouTube poll fairly concretely.
Oh my goodness.
I'm a little thrown off because this bedrock feat seems a bit fishy to me, but I will say the verdict has been reached, and the admin has won this matchup.
Yeah.
Yay!
If it makes you feel better, Sherm, the bedrock feat didn't really influence my decision at all. So, at the very least, you did not lose due to a fishy feat.
All right.
Hey, I mean, don't call it that just because, I think it's a little bit disingenuous when we've got collector fucking, they can fly to the galaxies and get like 1,000 times faster than like, hang on now. I know that you guys don't understand Minecraft story, but hang on now.
Well, here's my thing: is that I think the collector star fee is easy. We know how far away stars are. We know how long it took Traveler to get Traveler. You know how long it took Collector to get there. So he flew there, and then he flew back in a certain amount of time. We got like a distance. We got a time. It's easy. With the admin, it's like he's reacting to his own magic. So I'm like, how do we know? It feels very weird to me personally.
Well, I mean, I'd buy the feat, so I was just trying to make Sherm feel better.
Well, I don't like that for the last 30 minutes. It's just been like, this feat feels disingenuous.
Well, I guess
you don't know the feat.
I guess
I tried explaining it deeply for the last 20 minutes.
And we probably don't want to keep explaining it, so I guess I won't ask any of my questions. But yeah, this was the cast for Collector versus Admin. I was looking forward to this a lot. This was a membership earned cast. We researched and talked about this because one of our
Solid Geyser.
Yeah, Salad Geyser wanted us to, and that was what Salad Geyser submitted. So if you want us to talk about any specific matchup, you can join the Nebula Theater membership. You can join our Discord and suggest that matchup, and we will absolutely talk about it.
I watched 11 hours of Minecraft story mode content for this. I'm dedicated.
Yeah.
So is there anything else we'd like to talk about at the end of the cast, Saul?
No, I think we're fine to bow out.
All right. Thank you for watching, everyone. This has been a great time. Link to join the Discord is in the description, and we will catch you all later.